Hello, everyone, and welcome to Global Wellness for All podcast. My name is Laleh Hancock, and I have the great pleasure of being your host every single week, bringing in conversations, tools, resources to bringing more wellness and well-being in all aspects of our lives, whether it's relationships, it's finances, business, our bodies and mental health, whether it's having more communion with our magical earth or bringing more awareness and consciousness in everything that we're choosing. So thank you so much for being here.
Hello.
Привет.
Привет. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
That's amazing. So we have a list of questions, but let me start with just introducing you a little bit again for those who maybe see you for the first time. Meanwhile, I think all Russia knows Lali. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining me in our book club. And Lali is an amazing person who is a business lady, non-stop
Do you want to
creator, and
translate?
you caught me from the beginning of interview. Thank you so much. So, during this book club, we talk a lot about money, of course, and about access tools regarding to money. So, I would like to ask you at the beginning, what access tools created for you for your financial reality, financial awareness? Could you share your story a little bit, please?
Yeah, it's interesting because when I even started using the tools for how to become money,
Mm,
I had a different point of view. I wasn't
mm,
doing it from have a problem. Um, like even coming into access, I know different people have different things going on in their lives and they find access like, maybe some people have health problems and they come in between the bars and the body process and asking who does this belong to makes a huge difference for them to
mm,
know they can choose something different.
mhm,
And if you ask me at the time what was going on in my life when I found access, I was happy. I had an
mhm,
incredible marriage, kids, money was great, but it wasn't that. It was the stress in my life.
mhm,
And I could handle stress. I was the kind of person who mm, I thrived in a crazy environment because I
mm,
could undo the lies and create a possibility. And I did it with joy. Joy was like, joy and gratitude were
mhm,
two of the most dominant energies in my life.
mhm,
And so when I started to um, learn who does this belong to, like that was one of the greatest gifts so
mm,
far and more, because every day I become more and more aware of where I'm still not being me, of
mhm,
where it still doesn't belong to me.
mm,
And the How to Become Money workbook was exactly that for me. It opened the gratitude for the joy and the play. And for me, money was always fun, it wasn't serious at all. And all I had to do was say, I didn't even used to say money, honestly. My life
mhm,
until access, I didn't even know what it was to ask for money. It was always like, oh, I would
mhm,
like my kids to go to the best school, or
mhm,
I'd like to buy this house, or, I would like to contribute to empower people, or I'd like to open a new business. And like, it was always the creation that I was seeking and asking for, and then engaging, and then the money would all show up and more. Like,
mhm,
I didn't sit around and say, today I need $50 or, I'd like, it was a very different mindset. And then each time the How to Become Money workbook showed me the lies of money,
Mm-hmm.
the lies of how much we make other people's realities real.
Mm. Lali, you're talking about how to become money workbook. It's amazing. Also, we have a book club on money is not the problem. Just for your awareness.
Oh, oh, that's even better. Oh my
It's
God, I love
even
that
better,
book.
yeah.
Okay,
Because it's
okay,
the
okay.
story of your life. Like money wasn't the problem, right?
No,
Yeah.
money always showed up. And the only time it didn't was a short period of time. Wait, I'm just looking at.
Mm,
I um I was part of a project where working with different governments,
mm,
and I learned a lot of the behind the scenes of money and how governments really lie.
mhm,
And the only time was there was pretty lucrative project that would have yielded some amazing, interesting money to contribute to the center I'm building, what I wanted to do with the earth and other things. And the only time I would say that it really didn't show up wasn't then, but it's when I made it wrong. I was like, oh,
mm,
they lie about money. I made it significant.
mm,
No, I don't want the commissions. I said no to the
mm,
money they're going to pay me because
mm,
I realized there's all these other things they're doing that wasn't kosher for me. And
mm,
and then I started to see my money um change, the flow of
mm,
my money, because I made it be wrong.
mhm,
It's funny because I was looking at it, I wasn't making the money wrong, I was making the people wrong, but by making the people wrong, I also have to make the money that comes to me in any wrong. Does that make sense? I don't know how to
Yeah, it's more
explain
like
that.
about conclusions that we have, like all this work in these books. It's again and again bring us back to like write down all the conclusions you have about money, about the ways it can be received, and this is what stops us from receiving it.
Yeah, and what was interesting is I remember just like it was so much fun and so much play, and then one day it shifted.
Mm,
And then I'm like, no, I don't want on this project anymore.
mm,
And then I was like, no, I learned so much about COVID. I learned so much about governments. I learned so much about how money is printed and where there's
mm,
just so much I learned. I realized that I the truth I wasn't willing to be an allowance of.
mhm,
And I noticed when I chose it and I kept changing it, and I realized it took so many layers. But then later, I realized it didn't even belong to me. This is the crazy
mhm,
part, and
mm,
how I was aware of other people's heads. And I used it
mhm,
as justification. So, other than that, there's never been that money didn't show up.
mm,
Money always was a friend. Money never. We blame things on money.
mhm,
It's never money's fault
mhm,
because money's always coming. It's just, are you allowing it to come or are you refusing it?
mhm.
It's funny talking to you. I'm just getting all this awareness. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah. But I also realize, one thing that Gary and Dane have always talked about is what is so easy for you
Mm,
that you take for granted and you don't feel there's any value to it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, one of those things has always been the generating, creating, and the making of money with ease.
Mm-hmm.
And many years ago, I would have been timid to say those words out loud because then I'd be like, well, I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
if that's not their reality. And now I see how we have to claim, own, and acknowledge the ease we be with money to
Mm-hmm.
allow more money to be able to generate and create more consciousness.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. While you're talking about this, I perceive all these like problems we invent with money, not to show other like people that we are different with them, that it's too easy,
Yeah.
that it appears like that when we ask. That's amazing.
And you know what's funny is many years ago, I asked Gary a question. He was at a choice of possibilities in Copenhagen. And because I can generate, create money, millions, billions for others, you know?
Mm,
Every company I ever worked for, it was that, they would put me in the areas that weren't doing very well, like the employees weren't happy, the clients weren't happy, money wasn't good, and then I would change it. Everybody would love coming to work. The clients were happy, they made a lot of money. And I
mm-hmm,
remember asking him a question, and he said, "It's so funny. Have you ever acknowledged your mage with money?" Which means you really have magic with money.
mm-hmm,
And I remember when he said that to me, my head was spinning because I was like, "Whoa, what do you mean?" you know, it is because everyone who has a money problem or they perceive they have a money problem, ask yourselves, what's the capacity that I have with money that I'm
mm-hmm,
refusing?
mm-hmm,
And, in this book, Money's Not the Problem You Are, both Gary and Dane talk a lot about stories,
mm-hmm,
situations in their own lives. And, you know, Gary talks about when Dane was saying, I have a money problem. And Gary says, you do not have a money problem. And he says it a few times and he goes, okay, tell me more. He said, okay, if I gave you $1 million today or whatever the amount was, would you leave Access and return to where you were before Access? He
mm-hmm,
said, hell no, I would never want to go there. I wouldn't give up the tools for any money. And he says, you don't have a money problem. You just have a refusing of receiving you.
mm-hmm,
You receiving you, gift of you. And the more you're willing to claim, own, and acknowledge gift of you, the difference of you, the uniqueness of you is when you actually allow you to receive even more.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like what you said about your capacity to create money for others. Right? Before you judged this as a lack of creating money for yourself, yeah, and undoing this judgment changed the energy. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And it's funny because I see this a lot in Access when people do anything. Like they come, they become a bars practitioner, a
Mm-hmm,
facilitator, then they want to do it for themselves and their business. But when I came to Access, that's not how it was. I had a business when I
mm-hmm.
came to Access. And for me, I never went to classes because I wanted to be a facilitator.
Your sound?
Okay, can you
Yeah.
hear me now?
Yes.
I find it funny when that happens because I was actually talking about money.
Yeah. So when else? The girls, they are just really happy that you are here and they're sharing that you're amazing.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying that from me, I watch a lot of people come to Access
Mhm.
and they're so grateful for the tools, but they start to use the tools against themselves and lower who they really be. You know, each of us is somebody. Each of
Mhm.
us has so many skills and abilities. And the tools are there to empower us to be even greater, have more joy. So,
Mhm.
what if we didn't have to look at what we're not being or doing,
Mhm.
but really look at what are you being and doing and have more.
Mhm.
I am, tomorrow I'm going to be at the building
Mhm.
and and it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have been created if I wasn't willing to quit my positions in Access.
Mhm.
I didn't have the space for it. And so you have to find that facilitating consciousness has nothing to do with a classroom.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with you doing a bar session.
Mhm.
You being you without saying one word is going to create change. Facilitating a class is incredible. It creates change. But you are more than the class. You are more than the tools. You are an infinite being. And the tools are there to remind you
Mhm.
of you,
Mhm.
who you be, and that you can have anything and everything, but you have to be willing to ask for it and choose it. And
Mhm.
one thing I've learned from Gary and Dain and Simone and Brendan and so many, really from universe, really more than anybody else from the universe, we're not asking big enough,
Mhm.
you know? And so when you ask bigger, you're more inspired to choose it, create it. Sometimes when it's not working for you, it might be because you're bored. You
Mhm.
require more inspiration. You inquire to have way more fun.
Mhm.
So truly, what else could you add to your life and living that you've never given yourself permission to ask for?
Mhm.
What
Yeah,
would
I
that
think
be?
yeah, there's a space to get the awareness after this question because it's really so different for each of us. And I was pulled to access, especially with the difference that each facilitator is. They were like,
Yeah.
and they are all different. And I thought, okay, if these tools make them so unique, each of them so unique, what would it create for me? And that's what
Yeah.
pulled me into access. Thank you.
Yeah. And the tools are amazing. And we also have to be willing to be them, not just say them out.
Laleh, are you here?
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome back.
Just don't know if I'm on my computer. Can you see me or no? Is video work
Now,
on computer?
now I don't see you, I only hear you.
I know I'm on my computer because my phone died, like the battery went away.
Ah, but you can do there also camera on it.
I'm attempting. It's not
Okay.
working. So what else is possible?
What else is
You
possible?
know, I get that there's
Anyway,
many energies that also
yeah.
don't having this conversation. So, like, what if we would be willing to totally be so much space to
Mm-hmm.
push those energies away?
Mm-hmm.
Like, really be the dominant energy and force of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
That this is now. the space and the time to let people know money is no longer a problem.
Mhm. Could you tell something and share the energy of this new creation in Dubai, the building and the center? Your sound is like appearing and disappearing, appearing and disappearing. Now we don't hear you.
Oh, my voice, you mean, is disappearing, or do you
Now,
mean my?
now it's here.
Okay, cool. Yeah. What else is possible?
What else is
Um,
possible?
so I could hear you the whole time, and I heard that you were already starting to tell them. Is there
Hmm.
something specific you'd like me to tell them, or
Yeah,
I
maybe
didn't?
just share some energy because I said that it's like wellness center, but saying wellness center is not enough
Oh no, it's
to share what is
well,
it.
yeah, yeah. Um, so we're creating a building that
Mhm.
is. Oh, I'm just talking to myself. I had no idea. This is so
You
crazy.
don't talk to yourself, you talk to the universe, and
That's true.
we're just not ready to receive, so that's
That's true. That's true. So where did I go? Did you hear any of it or no?
no.
Well, I wonder what's going on. Okay. Well, maybe another time then.
Yeah, another time. So, okay, we have a list of questions, maybe just one question from the participants I
Sure.
will ask you. Okay?
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, and let me choose. They have like competition of the questions. Um, like one participant in the book club, she has a dream to run bars to Leonardo DiCaprio. What
Oh,
should she start to make this dream come true?
well, I would say the first thing is you've got to acknowledge it's not about him, because then you're limiting who else you can run the bars on.
Mm,
And um, you can ask, what would it take? What would you have? Okay, what would it take to run bars for him?
mm,
And what would you have to be or do different to
mm,
be willing to receive that?
mm,
You know, we have people that are special for us, whether
mm,
they're on TV or somewhere else. Like for me, I always wanted to meet Oprah.
mm,
And what was funny is now I'm in a book with Oprah.
mm,
So it showed up different than I imagined, you know?
mm,
And now I have connections also into Oprah for my Earth project, you know? And
mm,
so like what if it's not just you running as bars, but like what else is possible you haven't considered yet?
yeah, that's amazing.
And what else is possible with you and the bars that you don't think is possible, that if you allowed the possibilities would actualize beyond anything
Mm,
you ever imagined before?
mm,
Anything that doesn't allow you to be, know, perceive, and receive the awareness of that, will you destroy and create it?
mm.
Right, wrong, good and bad, ponapok, all night, shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds.
Thank you. Last thing, maybe because we are short of time.
Mhm.
I, I will like when I asked you about this small talk, I said let's talk about generosity of spirit and
Yeah.
why, yeah, why I said about this topic. In our book club, we have this, you know, some we play with money and stuff, and girls put like photos with their money. And one participant, she put her photos with 1 million rubles, and
Yeah.
it's brought a lot of energy for everyone. Like it's yeah, so and I wonder what would it take for all of us to like really to be this generosity of spirit where somebody having success, having money, ex like expands us.
Yeah. Yeah. But see, if you guys read the Right Riches book, in chapter number 1, the first thing is that there's 4 things required for having riches.
Mm,
And one of them is generosity of spirit.
mm,
But most people think generosity of spirit is, do you give someone money? But it's not. Are you willing to be generous to you? Are you willing not to judge you anymore? Because the minute you stop judging and you're grateful, you are grateful when someone is successful. Because, see, if they're successful, that means they asked and received and
mm,
opened that space in the universe for anyone else to choose it and have it even easier.
mhm,
But when we say, oh, they have it, I have to take it away from them, or you don't do it from that space of possibility, you literally kill your possibility to have it. And
mhm,
generosity of spirit can have, yes, giving someone money. Like, I'm in Dubai,
mm,
and so far I've played so much with the people um who drove us around, and like the
mhm,
restaurants we went to, and like one waitress, like I was like, can I add tip? And she said yes. And I said, okay. And then she's like, well, what amount would you like me to add? And then I just had this awareness out of nowhere to say, well, what would you like me to add? And then she goes, 1 million dirham. She said 100,000 or 1 million dirham. And I looked at her and I started to laugh. And I said, okay, but are you willing to receive that?
Uh-huh.
And she was like, no. And I said, well, then no. But she was willing to ask. And I know no one's ever told her, what would you like?
Mm,
By me asking, is that generosity of spirit for her to know in her world it's possible now, you know?
mhm,
And I ended up giving her like more money than she's ever received in tips, because I asked, what is she willing to receive?
mhm,
But what was so funny is I said to her, now that you've asked, it's possible. You have to now open your doors to be able to receive it. And I gave her some tools. And so, generosity of spirit can include money, but it's about the wealth of being. It's not just the cash.
mhm,
And I don't know if I would have given her 100,000 dirham or would have given her 1 million dirham, but I'm not against doing it. Does that make sense? Like, if she
yeah.
really was willing, that would have freaking changed the freaking world, even though her world totally changed. And she was so happy and she was so grateful. And she kept saying, oh my God, thank you, God. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Like, that enthusiasm changed the whole fucking world
Mhm.
for me and her and everyone else.
Yeah, and how much awareness you put into her world, like she can receive this when she will be ready to receive. And like, what would it take for me to be this energy, which is totally fine and grateful receiving these tips, if
Yeah.
it's 1 million dirhams. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. Like, what's
Yeah.
1 million in,
I don't know.
in dollars? But what I'm saying is, I was willing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's this gifting and receiving with both of us,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the difference. Is that We are part of oneness. And what you receive, I now can receive.
Mm-hmm.
What I receive, now you can also receive.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we have to be willing to ask. Otherwise, we don't open the door of receiving. And so, you and I, Yulia,
Yeah.
can talk hours about
Yeah.
generosity of spirit,
About everything.
and 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 also look at the years that you and I have played together and how much generosity of spirit's been there between us
Mm.
and how much it explodes everybody's world,
I will cry now.
you know?
What would it take to have more of that? And you
Yeah.
inspire me so much with this, like you receive from everything. You receive from every like leaf on the tree, with from every like class which is happening in different part of the world. You like ready to receive. What is one tool maybe to remind ourselves that it's about oneness?
Mhm. Follow the lightness.
Yeah.
Follow the lightness, because we know and our body tells us when it's a lie.
Mm,
And we try to make the lie, we try to fix the lies and make them true for us. And it's impossible. It's a lie. And the more you are willing to say, oh, this is heavy, I look the other way. I want to follow the light instead. And that I got
mm,
from Shannon, at the Talk to the
mm,
Entities facilitators last year. She just kept saying, are you going to feed the wolf
mm,
of judgment, or are you going to feed the wolf of consciousness?
mhm. And
And
consciousness is what is light for you.
well, consciousness includes everything
Includes,
and
yeah.
judges nothing. So the minute you're judging you, you're no longer playing in the conscious world. You're playing in this reality. And this reality wants to make you more wrong. So you go further and further away from who you be.
Yeah. Oh my God. This like this conversation brings up so much energy and awareness, and it's a huge contribution. Uh,
Wonderful.
could you invite maybe for your classes, which will be soon? I know you have foundation.
Yes! We just finished Conscious Vagina today
Yeah.
with TVSS. And then we start foundation on the 28th, 29th, 30, and 31. And we have Russian translation.
Yeah.
And we just created a class yesterday. It's called Whose Fart Is It Anyway?
Wow.
But I'm not sure what day we're gonna start, where we're gonna start, because it's all the lies, it's all the farts. And
Fart.
yeah,
Oh my
whose
God.
fart is it anyway? Is the title of the class. And then we have How to Become Money workbook. We start this week too. And then after, I'm gonna do the How to Become Money advanced class. Um,
Wow.
yeah. And then I know that I'm doing a Talk to the Entities class in August, I think on the
Wow.
16th. Yeah. And that Talk to the Entities, I think I'm doing it weekly or something like that,
Mm.
so that we can actually contribute with class and then have space to play
Wow.
with entities, play with the beings of light, and allow us to be the play we truly be. And I
Mm.
think For me, Yulia, one of the most important things is that I love parties and playing because
Yeah.
it's not engaging with things, you know? It's not just even classes for me, they're playmates.
Hmm.
So, how does it get better?
How does it get better? So I will send the link to your website and your schedule to
That
our
would be
Telegram chat.
awesome. Thank you so much. That
Thank
would
you
be
so much for this conversation and for this energy. Love you, Laleh.
I adore you. And, thank you for you. And thank you for, you be this gift that it's not like a gift and more as most people talk about. It's the gift that you're willing to keep asking questions, you know? And that's what is going to keep creating greater in the world. We have to be the question. And no matter what we chose 10 seconds ago, it doesn't matter. What are you choosing now? What's next? How does it get even better? How does it get even better? How does it get even better? Every bill you get, how does it get even better than this? How does it get even better? Oh my God, I'm so grateful I got a bill. Yay! It's just, we have to be willing to be grateful and just, how does it get even better? What else is possible? What else is possible? And see where we go.
Thank you for your enthusiasm.
And how does it get even better than that?
How does it get any better than that? Say hi to all the conscious vaginas of Dubai.
There might only be a few people who might be willing to receive that, but yes,
Ah,
there's conscious vaginas. Remember, it's the people that are not conscious. The vaginas are
yeah.
conscious.
The vaginas are conscious, so
All
yeah.
right, thank you, everyone, and
Thank
big
you.
mwah. Bye.
Thank you so much for being here, whether you were listening or watching live or on a replay. We are so grateful for you. We want to hear from you. What would you like to hear about? What are topics that get you excited and you would like to know more about? You can message us on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or even sending us a message at globalwellnessforall.com/contact. And also, would you be willing to assist us? Would you be willing to contribute spreading these seeds of wellness and well-being to others? And as always, we are so happy you're here and what is truly possible with our amazing planet the minute we're willing to have more wellness and well-being. See you next time.